So the idea is every week, right, we have 7 of these. You're going to open up this module business and you have the module and it tells you what we're doing for the week, right? And you have the agenda. So you open the agenda and it explains what we're doing for the week. So here's what we're doing this week. And this is sort of important. We'll obviously read the online planner, so make sure people are familiar with it. Here's the main thing. The main thing is you have to find 5 sources, 5 or 6 sources that you're going to use for the next whatever 2 research papers, or whatever they are, 3 almost. So you need to find these sources. So here, let me show you what I've tried to set up to try to help people do that. So that's one of the main assignments for this week. If we go to the little online, so how I'm going to be running classes. So the theory is on Mondays and Fridays, I will show up here in the Collaborate world, and you can stop by and ask me questions and talk and clarify things. So that's what those said before. And then every Wednesday, I'll do a class like this where I actually show things, go over different assignments, try to explain things to as many people, whoever can show up, basically. That's the deal. I'm going to record all of these, and so then I'll post these videos online, and so then you'll have them in case you couldn't come to class. So Mondays and Fridays, that's me basically just being there and talking to individuals or whoever shows up and explaining things and clarifying things. And then on Wednesdays, I'll be trying to just do like a lecture, talk, explanation about what we're supposed to be doing. Okay, so so Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then as far as assignments go, all the assignment work is due by 11:59 on Friday, right? So I'm not going to try to do, it's some things due Monday, some things are due Wednesday. Everything's always going to be due at the end of Friday, and so I've sort of set up the course to sort of work like that, just so that it should be easier for all of us to remember. Because I'm assuming you're all doing with your other courses also, or some version of this. So I'm just trying to simplify things. So for this week, the big thing will be to find sources that you're going to write, that you're going to use for this essay. So the sources are, remember we did this before break, you're going to focus on narrative and some other aspect of narrative in some discipline or some topic. And so you had started, and people have already started, with the proposal thing, and I think a lot of people had done that. And that's also, I just made that due on Friday as well. Oh, we don't need that anymore. So the research proposal was just trying to get people to start brainstorming and thinking about what they want to focus on. You're going to be basically writing an argument paper of some sort that has to do with narrative in something. And so you're going to be eventually making a case for, all right, so here's how narrative works and shapes messages in this world. Here's how narrative changes people's mind and behavior in this world, or whichever. So that's all the research proposal is supposed to be. You're just trying to come up with questions you could answer, dominant narratives, and so on. So what I put together was, in the other thing you're seeing, I'm trying to make it look like yours for some reason. Okay, so there's the readings folder, okay? So if you click on the readings folder, basically this is a bunch of articles that I have collected for this assignment for people. So I have the main narrative paradigm ones, which we're going to use, I think, 3 of them or whatever. So we're all going to sort of be using something from the narrative world. I have a couple or few actual whole books, if people wanted to go through those, about some of them. They're good about storytelling and what storytelling does and how it works. So that's something to look at. Then I have applying narratives to different disciplines. So I have a folder that you can connect to here that has all of these articles. I just labeled them, right? So this is about advertising and narrative, business and narrative, criminal law and narrative, all of that. So if you click on the folder, it should take you to my folder in Google Drive, and it has all of these articles there. So those are places to look at. I mean, if you find articles that are worthy, that's also fine, right? I'm just trying to help people. I thought it would be useful to sort of, I don't know, create a place where we would have a bunch of articles for it. This is a whole book, which is a pretty good book. This someone who is doing AI has narrative and emerging technologies in it, so you can look at that part of that book. Okay, the other thing at the very top here, the spreadsheet of articles, these are the things that you guys have come with, or all my students have, right, for this semester. When I asked everybody to post one, I put them all together and basically divided them up and put them in categories, right? So here's a bunch of articles about narrative and technology, narrative and health, and if you go down, you'll see a bunch. So you have access to all of those as well. So from all of these things, right, you're trying to come up with 5 or 6 useful articles that you're going to be able to use. And that's one of the assignments for the week. So the first main assignment is this research proposal, which most of you have already done and submitted, but if you haven't, you want to do that and submit that. And then the other assignment is basically create a reading list, right? So you're going to give me 8 or 9 sources. Here are the 3 that I said we could all use, so that's fine. So you would need 5 or 6 other ones, it depends. So it's basically just a list of sources. That's what we need by the end of this week. For next week, we're going to need to do an annotated bibliography, sources that we choose. So we'll talk about what that looks like. So you're finding readings that you're going to be able to use to do the rest of this work. Your guys' is always out. All right. Okay, the other thing now, instead of in class, remember writing A, B, C, D, E, and all that? I've changed writing, in class writing, into to the discussion to the discussion board. Excuse me. Right. So here's what the discussion board is about. Going to be able to so you're finding readings that you're going to be able to use to do the rest of this work. Your guys' is always out. All right.